but I would get home and I would be exhausted. The other thing is, if you've been in the pit and you've gone and lost tens of thousands of pounds of your own money, and that's a lot of money now. But imagine that in the 90s. The last thing you actually want to do is go for a drink. You want to go home and just try and go to sleep.
Jason, just out of interest, it's quite unique. We have the sort of, I think most traders just sort of see trading pits and trading floors on sort of documentaries and films. A certain film I can think of in mind with Ewan McGregor in, and they don't really sort of have any sort of idea of what that was actually like. What do you miss the most about that?
Oh, it was just so much fun. It was just so exciting. I just can't really explain the feeling of when you're in the pit. It's gone absolutely mental. The brokers are screaming all around you with orders. You're trying to take in what orders are being shouted out. Obviously, you haven't got time to think for long, because everyone around, all the other traders around me, who are my mates, but we're all fighting for the money. So you're not going to go, oh, don't you want to do that trade? You'd be like, you're not best friends when you're going toe to toe in the pit. So you're really living on your wits. You haven't even got time to punch something into a calculator. You've got to figure out your hedge in your brain. It was so intense, so exciting. I couldn't do it now. I don't think I'm too old. But when people are shouting and screaming, and you're putting your hand signals into the futures pit to get your hedge off, because I was an options trader. I don't know how else I could replicate that feeling. Actually, it was amazing.
Yeah,
you certainly couldn't. Sorry, I was just going to say, you certainly couldn't refer to a chart. You had to make an instant decision. Yeah. And like Jason said, I mean, like an options trader, and you've got to put a strategy all together and actually trade that, get the prices and start working that through. It's just, it's a whole different world. It was speed. You have to be in there doing it on the button, and you'd get it wrong, right? And then you've got to hedge, re-hedge, and try and work out exactly where it's going. You couldn't run out the pit and say, can you hold on while I have a quick look at this chart and see where the market's going? Like I remember at Barings and Morgan Stanley, where I worked previously, you'd go into a morning meeting and the economist to tell you what the market was going to do. You'd be out of that meeting at 10 to 8 in the morning, and the market would do completely something else. And you think, why am I bothered going and listening to this fella? But he was making a living like I was as well, I suppose.
Yeah, there's always a living to be made from predicting what the markets are going to do. So I take it you two, after a busy trading day, in bed for 9 o'clock, waiting for the next trading day. No parties, nothing like that afterwards.
Thursday night only. Actually, I was exhausted. I mean, it took its toll on me. As Nick said, okay, it wasn't intense like that all day, every day. You would have your quiet days, and that was fun because all the guys would stand around having banter, taking the piss out of each other. That was all so fun. Then you go down the pub and have a drink, which I don't think you can do these days. But I would get home and I would be exhausted. The other thing is, if you've been in the pit and you've gone and lost tens of thousands of pounds of your own money, and that's a lot of money now. But imagine that in the 90s. The last thing you actually want to do is go for a drink. You want to go home and just try and go to sleep.
Yeah, the roller coaster of trading motions.
Yeah, more often than not, stick your head in the freezer or the fridge and try and calm yourself down for a little bit. And you've got to go back, and you've got to face those people the next day as well. And people know what's happened. People know what's happened. If you've lost money, it's difficult to conceal.
It's horrible.
It's definitely very, very different.
When you had a bad morning and you've got to stand there in the afternoon and try and get it back, it's really horrible. Anyway, but there were some fabulous times, of course. We did actually make some money as well.
That's always helpful. Yeah, I mean, for Nick, it seems like there's from what you're describing, and I think, again, what we see sort of on documentaries and when it's fictionalized, it seems like it was a very physical endeavor as well, not just sort of the mental stress of trading that everyone can relate to, trading from charts. We also had that physical element, not necessarily bumping into each other, but just the sort of exertion and the energy and the noise. It sounds like it was pretty exhausting at times. What do you miss most about it?
Well, the answer for me is probably, going back to the things that happened over that period. The answer is none of it, but the genuine answer is none of it. But just started in the City of London when I was 18, and I just think it's the most fascinating industry. And obviously I would have much preferred everything during that period to have gone a lot better for me, but you've got to deal with that, and it teaches you some of your own limitations, behavior, issues you need to address going forward. And hopefully I've done that over the years as well, but it's addictive. It's very I loved going to work every like no 2 days are the same, right? So I don't think any industry offers you that. You've always got new challenges, new ways to approach the market. There's a certain amount of camaraderie that Jason spoke about. I'm still friends with a lot of guys that I would have known from the trading floor, and when we get together, it's very easy to get back to where we were all of those years ago. And like Jason said, maybe go out for a drink on a Thursday every now and again. Because that was all it was, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, I can imagine in bed. Yeah, nice, healthy vegetarian lunch at the gym, and then in bed for 9 o'clock to make sure you're well rested for the next day. That does that's how everyone imagines floor trading was. Yeah, it seems a shame that the sort of current generation of traders can't experience that anymore. But such is life, such is technology. But yeah, I think those stories are fascinating, particularly for people who've got no idea. Or sort of never have the opportunity to interact with people who sort of did that type of thing. Thank you for that.